This is Newstalk.
Authorities have warned people on the island of La Palma in the Canaries of fresh dangers after a new volcanic vent blew open and rivers, as you saw, will have seen on the TV, unstoppable lava flowing towards more densely populated areas and ultimately the sea. Experts have warned that eruptions which began last Sunday could last possibly for months, bringing with them a risk of earthquakes, lava flows, toxic gases, volcanic ash, acid rain, etc., etc. In the background there you can hear Alexis Schwartz, who is a volcanologist with GeoTenerife. Is that, to coin a phrase, Alexis, overblown, or is that the threat?
What you mentioned, what we are having at the moment is an ongoing eruption, fissure eruption. The lava flow. Yesterday it was expected to reach the sea, but apparently it has stopped because it has high viscosity. It's difficult to say how the eruption will evolve. So if you hear news about the duration of the eruption, this is unknown at the moment. It could be weeks, it could be months. We cannot know, really.
And what's the biggest danger that comes from it, Alexis? Is it the gases? Is it the lava flow? Is it the possibility of further explosion?
Yeah, well, look, I think the most important is the lava flows, obviously, because as you have seen, the lava flows have caused quite a lot of property destruction and infrastructure, communications, roads, etc. But I think that's the main thing. The question of the gases, there's always gas emissions. CO2 is not a big problem, and sulfur dioxide may be a problem if people are very sensitive. But I don't think the concentrations are going to be that high anyway, maybe locally. But I don't think the question of the gas is a big threat. It hasn't caused any problems in past eruptions. So, yeah, that's true. I mean, the gases are being emitted. If the lava reaches the sea, the water will be vaporized and you will have plumes of water vapor, probably with some content of sulfur dioxide particles. But I don't think that's going to be a big problem. I think the main problem we have nowadays is these advancing lava flows that destroy everything on its way.
Is there anything that can be done to guide or direct the lava flows, or is the sheer quantity of molten rock so much that it's insurmountable?
No, I think, it's been in the past, in other eruptions somewhere in the world, that they have tried to throw in cold water and trying to cool some part of the flow so they may divert the direction. It has never been very effective. And in any case, you never know, because if you stop a lava and you change the direction, it may affect areas that previously were not threatened. So it's always very difficult to try to tame nature. Lava flows will find the way from the high point where it's being erupted down to the sea. And on its way, it will destroy it. I don't think you can really stop that.
Can you explain one thing to me, Alexis? Because my understanding was that the huge threat to human life from most volcanic eruptions was a thing called pyroclastic flow, where you get this high-speed column of hot ash, hot debris, all the rest of it. In this instance, that didn't apply. Why was that? Because
it's a type of magma being erupted. This is a basaltic magma. And the type of eruptions these basaltic magmas produce are the typical eruptions that we've seen, for example, in Iceland or Hawaii. This is a strombolian eruption. The magma, although it has some gas, it hasn't got the gas content that you need to produce a Plinian eruption, which are the eruptions associated to pyroclastic flows. There's no risk of any pyroclastic flow, really, unless there is some collapse of a very thick lava flow. But we've never seen that type of phenomenon in strombolian eruptions, at least in the Canary Islands. So we don't have that risk. That would be a very dangerous phenomenon, and that's very destructive. But I don't think we have that problem here. It's an effusive eruption, not very explosive.
And from your perspective as a volcanologist looking at it, is there anything to be learned in terms of predictability or preventability from this eruption?
Well, what we have confirmed with this eruption is that if you measure the seismic activity and the deformation, then you can not predict, but you can expect an eruption to happen. In this case, this worked very well. Both the formation, the deformation of the land is obviously caused by the pushing of this magma from down upwards, and therefore the area deforms. And at the moment, we have an elevation of 30 centimeters, which is a lot. And also the seismic activity, obviously, we saw how the seismic events were approaching the surface shallower and shallower. So these two ways are good ways to at least expect an eruption.
But I assume, however good you can get at predicting it, there's nothing you can do about preventing it.
No, nothing you can do about preventing it. And it's very difficult to predict once the eruption has started how it's going to evolve. So at the moment, at least, we know, as this was the case in this eruption, that the scientists informed the authorities about the possibility of this eruption that eventually took place. There's nothing you can do to stop that. Obviously, the only thing you can do is, at least we have the advantage that these lava flows go very slowly, not as rapid as a pyroclastic flow. Pyroclastic flow can reach 200 miles per hour. This is less than 1 mile per hour, and you can actually, you have time at least to evacuate areas that you see that the lava flow is going to approach.
Alexis Schwartz, a volcanologist with GeoTenerife, thank you very much. I'm joined